Welcome to another episode of the Apple Tree Podcast. We have some interesting things to discuss today, right? Right? It's been a long time coming.
Right.
I feel like we've been kind of trying to, figure this out for a minute.
It's been Bernard's fault mostly.
It's always been our fault.
That's a true story. I take full credit for that one.
Why? Okay, I'll try to figure out why is it so hard to just catch up in general. Like for some reason we always work together, and that works out. But gatherings seem to be a little bit more difficult
Life
than
happens.
they should be. Life is a real thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
life happens.
not for me. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Shut up.
You live
man.
far away.
I'm always
That's your
available.
That doesn't mean you always show up.
When have I not shown up?
I don't know.
Like, literally, I've never
I mean,
not shown
usually
up.
if we know that you're not coming, then we're just like, all right, we'll just do it another time.
That's never happened, though. What are you guys talking about?
It's fine. Introductions first. So name, origin, and either favorite decade or favorite cereal. So I'm Kevin, right? I'm from Tallahassee, Florida. And my favorite cereal, it bounces between Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I got like 4 boxes of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Absolutely.
Like right now?
Like at this very moment. I tried, so I had a homegirl try to convince me to buy off-brand cereal because sometimes it's better.
Like generic?
Yeah. I
Don't
tried
do
it
it,
and it
man.
tastes like cardboard.
Don't do it.
So, but either Cinnamon Toast Crunch or Raisin Bran. I like
Wow.
Raisin Bran. I know,
Those are
right?
good
a lot of
choices,
people call me an
man.
old fart for like a Raisin Bran.
Yeah.
But I fucking love Raisin Bran, and it keeps you regular, right?
The brand does. Yeah.
Yeah, this is being recorded, right?
It's a tooth, brother. Yeah, whatever, man. I'm a human being, right? Human being takes shits.
Everybody
bro.
poops, man.
Everybody shits, bro. It's fine. It's fine. But I also like oatmeal raisin cookies, and I think that's why. Whatever. Go
That's
ahead.
fine. Raisins get a bad rap. They're good.
They do.
Agreed.
They do.
Who's next?
All right. So my name is Bernard. I'm from the coal region of Pennsylvania. And my favorite decade would probably be the 80s.
The 80s.
Yeah, the
I fucked
80s.
with the 80s. Why the 80s?
Everything was up and coming. Life was simpler back then. We didn't have Facebook, didn't have social media. You went out and hung out with your friends and stuff.
I mean, we still do that.
Well, yeah, but I don't know.
The 80s. I think I like the 80s for the color schemes, like the neon. Or is that more 90s? No, that's 80s, right?
Yeah, that's 80s.
Neon,
That's 80s.
like neon colors,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I spaced out for a second.
I mean, so I was born in, I don't want to get my age. I was born in 89. Okay. I'm currently 29. And so, I didn't really get to experience the 80s. But when I think of the 80s, I think of so 80s movies, I think of Breakfast Club
Yeah.
and Bueller.
Good old Bueller.
Yeah. And then I think of the segment. You ever seen Hot Tub Time Machine? You seen
Yeah.
Hot Tub Time Machine? The segment when they went back. That was the 80s, right?
Yeah.
All this. Yeah, skiers. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on your.
Oh, no, it's all good, man.
yeah,
It's all good.
Yeah, cool.
I like to reminisce about the decade I didn't live in.
That you did live, right? It was great.
It was. It was.
Yeah. Right.
All right, so I'm Brandon. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, and my favorite decade is the 20s.
I gotta hear this.
I'm talking about next year,
Oh,
Like the
I see
one
what
that's
he did
coming.
there.
the one that's coming.
The decade that's. Okay.
I feel like this is gonna be the prime of my life. I'll have money and a lot less debt. Kind of know what's going on now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So does that mean it's gonna be more enjoyable?
Yeah, that's the plan.
That is the plan. I think that's always the plan, right?
The best is yet to come.
We'll see if that works out.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna work out.
Don't die.
God damn.
That got dark really quick.
That was terrible. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna kill you or anything like that. Great, guys.
Just what he would
Well, I'm
say.
glad you all are here. Very, very glad. And maybe this will be one of more than one that we record together, right?
Yeah.
I think it's cool to create, with people that you do other stuff with, and you get to entertain other spaces. I think that's pretty dope.
I feel like we're gonna have a good balance of opinions here too.
We should.
Yeah.
We typically do.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
We typically
We
do.
do.
All right. So what we can do is we'll do the book at the end. So it's not, I guess if it's at the end, it's not called icebreaker. It's more of like a
Ice putting back together.
cool down.
Cool down.
Ooh, cool down, right?
Sure, cool down.
Fuck, I'm calling it a cool down. It's gonna be a cool down today. All right. So, numero uno. So, complacency is one of those things that it's like you ever get sick and you didn't really know you were sick until you start to get better? You ever had that?
You mean like it was just such a gradual sickness?
Yeah, that you're like, damn, I think I was sick, but you're already like recovering.
I know what you mean, but I can't think of a time that's happened to me.
No?
I always know I'm getting sick.
Yeah? Okay. I never know until like I'm on the other side. But
That's weird.
it is weird. It's very weird.
Yeah.
But that's maybe it's just like my body is relatively resilient, maybe. I mean, that'd be nice. But I think of complacency like that because the most recent time I noticed myself getting complacent was at the gym. And when like other people like come to me about like fitness stuff and I tell them that a lot of times you don't know that you're not working hard until you work with somebody that works hard, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't know that your workout is trash until you work out with somebody who actually does some shit, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times like complacency is just like invisible almost, right? And so how do you fight an invisible monster, right? So like, I guess the question would be, we know complacency exists. We know we don't want it. How do you go about, you know what I'm saying, like trying to counter something that you can't like readily recognize,
It's a great question.
right?
It's a really good question.
It is. So like, okay, for me, I try to like set like goals. You know what I mean? And what makes that difficult is that you don't really know how much effort it requires to meet your goals, right? So like let's say for example, if it only requires like 50% of effort to reach that goal, then you're not giving your best
Yeah.
and you still might reach your goal,
Yeah.
right? But is that adequate?
Well, see, I think like one of the things about being complacent is you might say, I'm going to set this goal. It's only going to be 50% of my effort, but that's okay because I'm complacent. So I
Right.
think that's what the issue is. So the fact that you're trying to go out and like better yourself,
Yeah.
I think that's like anti-complacent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, any amount of trying to improve is the opposite of complacency, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think so.
So is effort the opposite of complacency?
Extra effort, I would say, is the opposite of complacency. So like our previous job that we all worked together, I mean, like we went in and we were told to do like low effort, and we did it. And
I
was that
always
being
gave
complacent? Yes.
maximum effort. I just want that to be on record.
That's a lie. That is a lie. Your YouTube search history determined that was a lie.
I got a lot of shit done that wasn't work related.
Yeah.
To be honest, I probably did more work for like myself at work than like work,
Absolutely.
right?
Same.
I mean,
Well, I mean, no, come on. Honestly, we all did our job well and like on time or even ahead of schedule. We just weren't, just there wasn't that much work to do. It's
Yeah.
not our fault.
I agree. So the complacency is on them, not us.
Yeah, but none of us were complacent. Like we were all, thinking about other career moves
Right?
Yeah.
Trying to get the fuck out of there.
while we were there.
Agreed.
So I mean, like the perfect example is when I first started working there, I was like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yeah.
And the customer would give me an assignment, and I would go in and do it like
Knock it out.
as fast as I could.
Right.
And then I would call them and say, "Hey, like I finished the assignment. Can I have more?" And they were like, "No, just relax for a day. Like you're
Bro.
you're working too quick."
And
like,
charge what?
Exactly. Yeah. So that turned me into a complacent worker. Absolutely.
Interesting. But like I try to think about like so we have this idea that like success is this product that comes from like not sleeping and like working around the clock and like giving your best all the time. But like if you
I think success is very different from that, but keep going.
I'm about to agree with you, I believe. But I think that there is this image of success that appears to require those things, but it might not really. And so like when we think of complacency being like an evil towards, success, You try to figure out like what are the tools and like what are the things that you use to get there. And it would sound like complacency would be something that you want to avoid. But in defining it, it's a lot more difficult than I thought it would be.
Absolutely.
And so like leading up to whatever success is, I mean that's another conversation, like whatever you call success. But like I don't know, man, like complacency is just one of those things that you just kind of get caught up in, and you just like you just kind of like sink into it, right? But how do you get away from it though? Because like we know some people that we worked with at one point that are in those places, right? And they feel like they're doing just fine. And to be honest, they might feel like they're not being complacent, but we do.
I mean, they might feel like their idea of success is something different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe like there's stuff in their personal life that they have that's more important to them than their
Right.
career,
That's fair.
and that's what they're putting most of their energy
That's a
into.
good point. Right.
Right?
And so would that be considered complacency?
No.
So okay, let me ask you this then. Is complacency subjective?
It absolutely is. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
The
then.
same way success is.
Right, because we know success is subjective. Everybody determines their own level of success. But so I guess
And here's the other thing I want to say about success. I don't think successful people like ever really feel like they've achieved their maximum potential.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like how like great athletes remember their losses more than their victories.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like people are always trying to improve, or like successful people are always trying to improve, always trying to do better, always trying to grow.
Always. So like I had a conversation and we are talking about like Oprah, and like we wonder if Oprah considers herself to be successful, right? And like I don't know. Like what if she doesn't, right? What if she's like, nah, I haven't like done what I'm supposed to do yet.
I'm
Like
pretty sure she doesn't. Like,
probably not.
The way she's like, I might run for president one day.
Right.
She's like, I've not done it yet, but she's Oprah. She's done a lot.
She's like Oprah, right? But the thing is, it's possible for her to be like, I haven't done what I think I want to do yet. It's possible. But we look at Oprah because she got a lot of fucking money, and you see her on TV and she's done a lot of stuff. We like that's seems like success, and so this makes the whole complacency conversation a little bit more complicated, because now it sounds like an internal demon that you have to face on your own and figure out how to like get away from it. But first, you have to recognize that it's there, to get out of it. I mean, somebody could tell you that like you being the duck, you being complacent. But if you don't think so, then that monster won't appear, right? And then that battle won't happen, and you'll just be stuck forever. That sucks. That sounds kind of depressing a little bit.
I mean, no one can tell you're being complacent if you have a different idea of success than they do.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. But the if is there. But if you agree on what success is, then can they then tell you that you're being complacent?
Yeah, but it's not like anyone can tell you that. Like,
Yeah, I feel like I've told people that they're being complacent.
what?
I feel like I've told people that they're being complacent before.
I mean, I've definitely thought it, but I try not to say it because I don't know, like,
don't
you never know, like, all of someone's life. Like, you don't know what's
Very
going through
true.
their head and, like, all the stuff that they have to, like, overcome every day.
Mm-hmm. True that. Do you think you can? Okay. Do you think it's then possible to be both complacent and successful? Like let's take like your own personal definitions of success, right? Do you think you can achieve those things and be complacent at the same time?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah. So if my goal is to run an 8-minute mile,
Okay.
and I know I can do better, but if I'm happy enough with 8 minutes,
Uh-huh.
and I don't have a desire to push myself to go faster than 8, then I'm both complacent and successful,
Okay.
as judged by myself.
Okay.
I think for like for Bernard specifically, he would like achieve that 8-minute mile, but then he would like go set some other goal. Is the
Okay.
thing about it. Like he would then I don't know, try and do like go do a marathon after that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you would like achieve the 8-minute mile, but then you wouldn't necessarily go for a 6-minute mile. You'd like just set some other goal.
Okay.
That's fair.
But then that's not complacent, right?
Right.
If you're not satisfied with what you just did, then you're not complacent.
I mean, I was shaking my head as Bernard said yes.
Definitely. I don't know. So I mean, what? So does that count?
I guess it does.
So then, can you be complacent and successful?
I say no.
I still want to say yes.
Why? Why do you say yes? Okay, so like you said, okay. So it sounds like you're saying that accomplishing some goal makes you successful, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then I guess knowing that you can do so much better and still being okay with whatever you've done is what complacency might be.
Also, 8 minutes isn't that fast.
So then, okay.
So like I know a lot of families back in Pennsylvania, like their household brings in like 50,000 a year tops.
Jesus.
And yeah, it's cheap living back
Families.
there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like households. And they can go out and they like can go to college and make more money and everything like that, but they say I'm okay with where I'm at. You know, I can do better. But this is my definition of success.
Right. Does that make them complacent?
That sounds like complacency.
I think so. Because they can do better.
Right, but they don't want to.
They just choose not to.
But that kind of sounds counter to complacency to me. I mean, just because you can do better doesn't mean you have to. It doesn't mean you should either, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
I mean, so then I mean, like if we're giving like success like some level of responsibility and saying that like since you can, you should, then okay. But I don't think that's the case. You know what I'm saying? If I can run a 5-minute mile, doesn't mean like I want to. Doesn't mean I should. Doesn't mean I have to, right?
That's fair.
If I want to go for the 6, then that's where I'm at. Does that make me complacent?
I think for Bernard's point, it goes back to the idea that everyone defines success their own way. So they're
Right.
not being complacent if they say they've been successful.
Okay, that's a toughie. That's way more interesting than I thought it would be. Because I'm still struggling with it, like in my mind. Like, okay, so I think about moments where I feel like I've been complacent. I got into a routine or something, and I was just kind of sticking to it. And then something happened, and I was like, ah, shit. And then
Are you trying to think of an example?
So the easiest example is like going to the gym. Like say you go to the gym and or let's say like you're doing your program for like 6 weeks or whatever. And then let's say, me and Bernard would go to the gym or whatever, and I'm like, oh shit, that was a hell of a workout. I like that. Like this is where I need to be.
Yeah.
And I could have been doing that the whole time. You know what I mean? Then I feel like maybe I would reflect and be like I was complacent. I don't know. Cuz part of me feels like once you recognize you're complacent, you're no longer complacent.
Once you recognize you're complacent and do nothing to change it.
Yeah, you gotta do something about it.
I agree, but part of me feels like the person that has the mind to recognize complacency and be like, and like just even like have the audacity to think about it. I think that person might not be able to stay complacent. I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right.
You think I'm right?
So what's your definition of complacency?
I think a complacent person is a person who is in some type of routine. They've reached some level of like contentment, and they want more, but are too lazy to do anything about it. You know what I mean? So like let's take the families for example. The family that wants 80K, they're making 50, but they just like
But it sounded like they were cool with 50.
But yeah. But in their case, yeah. But if they weren't cool with 50 and they wanted 80, but then they were just like, I gotta do stuff. Right? I feel like that's complacency.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, right? And
Yeah.
so but I feel like a person who is in that mindset wouldn't call it complacency. But I think it's complacency. I feel like once they move past it, they will be like, that was complacency.